Our headlines for tonight: the Department of Public Works and Highways issues close watch to officials and contractors involved to flood control projects.
President Marcos directs sweeping review over 2025 National Expenditure Program under the DPWH.
Malacanang Palace slams the statement of Vice President Sara Duterte over the investigation on the flood control projects of the Marcos administration.
Survey reveals that 35% of Filipino people says their quality of life improved in 2025.
And Lady Gaga's look for Netflix series Wednesday 2 has been revealed. Good evening, bringing you the latest news. For tonight, I am ALVIN.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. Several controversial officials from the Public Works and Highways Department and contractors have been placed on an emergency lookout bulletin preventing them from flying out of the country.
This move was made based on the urgent request of the DPWH chief to the Department of Justice in order to avoid delays during the height of the investigation. Here's the report.
The Department of Public Works and Highways has placed several of its officials and contractor under close watch following alleged irregularities in multi-billion peso flood control projects across the country. By order of Secretary Vince Dizon, a lookout bulletin has been requested from the Department of Justice to ensure these individuals cannot leave the country while the investigation is underway. On September 2, Secretary Dizon formally sent an urgent request to Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla for an Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order or ILVO against the suspects tied to the anomalous projects. In his letter, Dizon stressed that the measure is necessary to avoid delays in the probe and hold those accountable. The DPWH also asked the Bureau of Immigration to immediately relay any travel advisories involving these individuals to concerned law enforcement agencies. Among those on the watch list are DPWH OIC Assistant Regional Director Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and JP Mendoza. For the contractors, these are named the owners of at least 15 companies previously exposed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., including Sara Diskaya, President and AMO of Alpha and Omega General Contractor and Development Corporation, Roma Angeline Rimando, owner and manager of St. Timothy Construction Corporation, Alan Arevalo, General Manager of Wawaw Builders, Alan Quirante, owner of QM Builders, Aderma Angeli Alcazar, President and CEO of SunWest Incorporated, Edgar Acosta, President of Hightone Construction and Development Incorporated, and others. Subsidy. Meanwhile, the Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or PCAP has revoked the licenses of 9 companies owned or operated by Sara Diskaya. In Board Resolution Number 75, PCAP cited Diskaya's Senate testimony admitting her ownership of multiple construction firms, an arrangement seen as giving her undue influence in government bidding. Among the firms stripped of licenses are St. Gerald Construction, General Contractor and Development Corporation, Alpha and Omega General Contractor and Development Corporation, St. Timothy Construction Corporation, Amethyst Horizon Builders and General Contractor and Development Corporation, St. Matthew General Contractor and Development Corporation, Great Pacific Builders and General Contractor Incorporated, YPR, General Contractor and Construction Supplies Incorporated, Waymaker OPC, and Elite General Contractor and Development Development Corporation. PCAB said such practices undermine transparency and fairness in government procurement. Copies of the resolution will be furnished to the DPWH, Securities and Exchange Commission, Government Procurement Policy Board, and concerned local government units. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the Department of Budget and Management and the newly appointed Public Works Secretary to conduct a sweep review of the agency's fund for the 2026 budget. This move is to ensure that every peso is spent properly and to remove the questionable projects. More from this report. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the Department of Budget and Management and the newly appointed Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways to conduct a sweep review on the DPWH fund for 2026 National Expenditure Program. The President reportedly wants to ascertain the source of questionable projects and ensure that every peso coming from the taxpayers is spent properly. The review aims to guarantee transparency, accountability, and the proper use of people's money, ensuring that resources are directed toward infrastructure projects that genuinely serve and benefit the Filipino people. Palace Press Officer and Undersecretary Claire Castro also confirmed that the DPWH and the DBM should evaluate the agency's funds. In case there is any fund that is not included in the spending plan, it will be removed from the NEP. Therefore, the Palace is expecting a reduction in the DPWH fund for the next year.
Ang kanyang suggestion po ay welcome naman po. At katulad ng sinabi natin kaninang announcement ng Pangulo, inuutusan po ang DBM at ang DPWH na busisiin po ang sinasabi nilang mukhang nagkaroon na naman ng mga insertions. So, kailangan po talaga itong maaral, ma-evaluate kung tama po talaga ang nasasabi. Sinisimula na po ito ni Secretary Vince ang pagtatrabaho dito.
Upon the appointment of DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, he immediately implemented a revamp on DPWH officials by having them submit their courtesy resignations along with a lifestyle check on the department officials amid the ongoing investigation over the anomalous flood control projects in the country. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, although immigration lookout order has been issued, Minority Leader Tito Sotto emphasized that several names were not included on the list. He reiterated that 15 controversial contractors should also be included. Raymond Montero tells us more.
Senate Minority Leader Vicente Tito Sotto III stressed the need for stricter monitoring of the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH flood control projects, along with the blacklisting of contractors allegedly involved in so-called ghost projects. According to Sotto, while DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon has already requested the Department of Justice or DOJ to issue an Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order or ILBO, several names are still missing from the list. He insisted that all 15 contractors should be included to ensure full accountability.
Maraming mga hindi masyadong napanggit na mga tao doon pero ako, in my opinion, dapat yung nasa top 15. People involved in the top 15 contractors that President Bongbong Marcos identified, dapat yun. Kasama lahat sa lookout bulletin.
The senator further emphasized that flood control projects should be removed from areas that are not flood prone to guarantee that government funds are properly allocated.
I will propose to remove all flood control projects na walang flood.
Na flood prone, na hindi flood prone.
Hindi flood prone. Talagang dapat magkaroon ng malinaw na at kailangan dito talagang mabantayan ng gusto na ang mga mananalo sa bidding dito, hindi rin itong mga kamoting tumira ng flood control na ghost. Dapat blacklisted na lahat yun. Hindi na pwede makapasok.
In line with this, Sotto reiterated his Senate Bill number 1215, which seeks to establish an Independent People's Commission or IPC to investigate anomalies in all government infrastructure projects. The IPC will be mandated to probe reported irregularities such as corruption, ghost projects, and the use of substandard materials. It will also be tasked with identifying individuals and private companies responsible for such anomalies. In addition, the Commission may recommend the filing of criminal, civil, or administrative charges. Under the bill, the IPC will be composed of a retired Supreme Court or Court of Appeals Justice as chairperson, a certified public accountant or CPA with expertise in forensic accounting, a licensed civil engineer or architect, a representative from a reputable non-governmental organization or NGO, and a academician specializing in public administration or economics. Soto explained that while the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee conducts investigations in aid of legislation, an independent body is crucial for deeper and more impartial probes. He added that the formation of such an independent investigating body now awaits the issuance of an executive order from the President. Raymond Montero for Eurotv News.
The House of the Representatives has launched its own investigation in response to the growing controversy around unusual flood control schemes, promising to hold all parties responsible. Mia Layagin has the report.
Following the surfacing of the controversy on flood control projects, the whole Philippines have already tuned in on its development. The House of Representatives on Tuesday also opened its own investigation regarding the issue, expressing commitment to hold everyone involved liable no matter their positions are. To prove this, the House Infra Committee have mandated its members to disclose all possible connections and conflict of interest on the investigation. Akbayan Party List Representative Attorney Chel Jokno raised the motion even before the probe started, urging full disclosure of all the financial, business and pecuniary interests of its members that may affect the investigation. Jokno cited Section 33 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, stating that committee members cannot participate in deliberations of matters that may have a relation to them. This motion comes after Senator Ping Lacson's revelation that over 60 members of the lower chamber in the 19th Congress operates construction projects or is funding them.
Senator Lacson, I believe we need to assure the public that this investigation will not be a whitewash and that no members of the three committees conducting this investigation have a conflict of interest.
ML Party List Leila de Lima seconded the motion, emphasizing that no one can judge their own case. Without objections, the House panel approved the motion, giving members 5 working days to submit the written disclosure of their conflict of interest if there is any. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
The Palace fires back to Vice President Sara Duterte likening flood control probe to Zarzuela. According to Attorney Claire Castro, she countered that President Marcos respects the due process of the government and human rights. More from Henry Nicolas.
The Malacanang Palace has slammed Vice President Sara Duterte's statement regarding the investigation of flood control projects that could be completed in one day. In VP Sara's statement, she said that she was not impressed with the investigation being conducted, and if the president is serious, he could have finished it immediately. The younger Duterte added that the investigation in alleged corruption of flood control projects was just a show.
Seryoso lang talaga ang presidente. Tapos na yan, isang araw lang. Matuturo niya lahat ng may kagagawan ng korupsyon sa budget.
Malacanang responded that the president respects due process and human rights and the government does not conduct an investigation in a latokhang way.
Isang araw lang matatapos ng investigasyon? That is absolutely preposterous. Ang Pangulong Marcos Jr., hindi po siya nagsasagawa ng investigasyon alatokhang way. Nirerespeto ng Pangulo ang due process.
Castro added that if the investigation was only for a day, VP Sara should have advised his father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, to conduct probe of anomalous deals involving flood control projects during his term in 2016.
Duterte ay umamin na maraming ghost projects rampant noon. This is November 2020 inilabas. Pero may nasibakbang secretary ng DPWH sa panahon niya.
Castro said that President Marcos takes the issue with utmost seriousness about the ongoing investigation and will not hesitate to investigate even in his own administration. On Monday, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee conducted a hearing in the anomalous flood control projects, and contractor Sara Diskaya of Alpha and Omega Construction admitted that her firm began handling Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH flood control projects in 2016.
Sangkot sa goes flood control projects. At yung nirereklamo ni Mayor Magalong na rock netting ay 2018 pa pala ito proyekto. At yung nireklamo kay Pangulo na binisita sa Bulacan ay 2021 pa pala ito nagawa.
Castro further emphasized that the President is doing this for the public and not for the political gain. As of press time, the Vice President has not responded to Malacanang's answer and Duterte is currently in The Hague in Netherlands for the upcoming hearing of former President Rodrigo Duterte in September 23. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
The One Bangsa group is raising concern over the rising tension in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao as the first parliamentary election draws near. The national president of One Bangsa urges the Supreme Court to release a resolution on the petition filed before the court. More from this report. As the first ever parliamentary elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao or BARM draw near, tensions in the region are mounting. Because of this, the One Bangsamoro movement or One Bangsa has called on the Supreme Court to immediately act on the pending petition concerning the BARM elections.
Una, panawagan namin sa Supreme Court na aksyonan agad yung mga petition na naisampa sa kanila. Yung petition na nagpapadeclare ng unconstitutional sa Republic Act 12123.
The group emphasized that their concern is the safety and peace of every resident amid growing conflicts between opposing candidates and their supporters. One Bangsa National President Maulana Alan Balangi stressed that their appeal is not for politics but for the welfare of the Bangsamoro people.
Pinangangambahan namin yan na mauuwi sa isang gulo at mauuwi sa isang hindi kapanipaniwala at hindi katali-talimang resulta ng eleksyon dahil doon sa mga petition na hindi pa nare-resulta.
He also urged all leaders, stakeholders, and advocates to exercise restraint in this critical period, pointing out that even the Commission on Elections or COMELEC has been inconsistent in its pronouncement.
Sana maging certain tayo sa ating mga ipapatupad na proseso at mga panuntunan. Dahil nakita natin itong mga nakaraang linggo, paiba-iba yung kanilang statement.
Balangi noted the need for a clear ruling, particularly on whether a temporary restraining order or TRO should be issued to temporarily suspend the elections. Recently, COMELEC chairperson Attorney George Erwin Garcia insisted that ballot printing for BARM polls will continue, fueling confusion among residents on what rules to follow. The poll body is set to print more than 2 million ballots in preparation for the October 13, 2025 elections. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The Department of Transportation has finally begun the two-year delayed construction of the Ortigas substation in Pasig City with the removal of the demolition of existing structures at the site. Vanessa Cleophas has more.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR has begun removing and demolishing existing infrastructures at the site where the Ortigas subway station of the Metro Manila Subway project will be built, located in Pasig City. This is to finally start the construction of the said station, which has been delayed for 2 years since 2023. During the site inspection by Acting Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez and Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto, it was stated that the target is to complete and make the subway station fully operational within 5 years. Once the station is completed, it is expected to benefit a large number of commuters, especially since the train line will run from Mandaluyong to Ortigas. It is estimated to be the second largest station among the 17 stations of the Metro Manila Subway project. It can be recalled that the construction of the Ortigas station was delayed due to the right-of-way issue even after notice to proceed had already been issued. This is Vanessa Cleophas for Eurotv News.
Survey shows that 35% of Filipinos had their lives improved between April and June amid the issue of flooding in the country. The Visayas had the highest net gainers, followed by Mindanao and Metro Manila. Mia Layagin has more.
Amid issues on flooding situations in the country, a recent social weather station survey revealed that more Filipinos have had better and improved life during April to June.
Based on the latest survey of social weather stations, 35% Filipino adults said that their quality of life improved this year compared from 12 months ago. From April, net gainers improved by 7 points in June when the survey was conducted. The highest net gainers were recorded at Visayas on excellent category. This was followed by Mindanao and Metro Manila with very high gainers, while balanced Luzon at high category. Net gainers in urban and rural areas also increased by 8 and 7 points respectively. Women and 18 to 24-year-olds were also the highest net gainers in terms of the quality of life. On the other hand, 23% of the total survey participants said that their quality of life worsened this year, while 42% said that it is unchanged.
This is Mia Layagi for Eurotv News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has expressed approval for the Bataan General Hospital and Medical Center's policy personally delivering zero billing to patients. The chief stated that the system should be adopted by all hospitals nationwide to ease the burden on patients. Vanessa Cleophas returns for the details.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expressed his approval of the current policy being implemented by the Bataan General Hospital and Medical Center or BGHMC for their patients. Admitted patients in basic accommodations no longer need to line up for zero billing as it is now personally delivered to them. According to President Marcos, this policy should be adopted by all hospitals across the country to ease the burden on patients.
System is working. Meron silang bagong feature dito sa Bataan General. Imbis na zero billing pa rin, pero imbis na pipila sa kahera ang pasyente bago ma-discharge. Pag malapit na ma-discharge yung pasyente, hinahatid sa kanila yung kanilang zero billing. At another added convenience which I think we should adopt all around the country.
In addition, BGHMC also does not have any pay wards as well as patients are placed in charity wards to ensure equal treatment and care. Dr. Glory Baltasar, Medical Center Chief 2 of the hospital, explained that they wanted to avoid further burdening patients with long lines, which is why they decided to personally deliver the zero billing documents. This also allows them to explain that the government and PhilHealth are covering the patient's hospital expenses. Dr. Baltasar also added that the hospital does not only cater to patients from Bataan but also to those from Zambales, Pampanga, and other nearby provinces. As of now, around 3,000 patients have already been discharged from Bataan Hospital without paying anything under the zero balance billing policy. Meanwhile, during the President's visit to the hospital, he stated that the country's universal healthcare coverage has now reached 80% with the goal of achieving 100%. This is Vanessa Cleophas for Eurotv News.
New character and new look unlock Lady Gaga's persona for the second season of Wednesday has now been revealed. Let's have the details from Sam Martos.
Let's step into the world of entertainment for the latest news and update. For our showbiz news, Mother Master is now on season 2 of the hit series Wednesday as her look will be revealed today on Netflix. The look of American singer and actress Lady Gaga for her role in the hit series Wednesday season 2 has been revealed. Lady Gaga will play the character of Rosalind Rothwood as a mysterious and enigmatic teacher at Nevermore Academy and will face the protagonist Wednesday. It was announced in June that Gaga will be included in season 2 of the hit Netflix series. It will be remembered that season 1 of Wednesday is about solving murder mysteries at their school. Meanwhile, Gaga's appearance in Wednesday season 2 can now be seen starting today, and the season consists of 12 episodes. And that's our showbiz news. Once again, I'm Sam Martos. Back to you, KRIZZA and ALVIN.
Thanks, Sam Martos. And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit Eurotv.com for more news and information. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez.
You can also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via Pinoy Extreme channel. I am ALVIN PELOBELLO. Thanks for joining us. This is Eurotv News Trend. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone.